Okay. Okay, here we are again. So this is the whole reason why I jumped on here and I'm having fun with technology. I use this platform called Be Live, and it's pretty popular, but like any form of technology, it has its glitches. So basically what just happened was, and this happens to other people using this platform, I guess lesson number one, be prepared for technology to fail. So basically my entire computer just shut off, and it was a really good dry run to see how long it takes for my computer to actually reboot, which, you know, it's not as fast as I wish it could, but there you go. So I had to completely restart my computer, set up a brand new invite on this platform and shoot out. And it looks like you can't really do that in quicker than 12 minutes. So most of what I do is learning through troubleshooting. So there you go. So this is a good lesson for anyone promoting themselves or broadcasting live. Technology can fail sometimes. So hopefully you guys will patch in through this one. It looks like we've got a couple of viewers coming in. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me here on Be Live. I'm Jessica Payne, and we're trying it's afternoon here in Los Angeles, and so hello to wherever you are. I know I have followers. I'm lucky to have followers around the world, which is quite nice. I think I've got folks in South Africa, folks in India, a couple in Singapore. I think I've got one in Australia, and then sort of, you know, across the US here. So if you are here, ask me questions. Today is really just a tech rehearsal, which was perfect, as I literally just had to restart this entire thing. It's wicked casual, as it always is. Hey, Karen, how are you? You're like my biggest supporter. Karen Newland, you guys, if you are looking for someone who knows the ins and outs of advertising on social media, on taking your business online, Karen is honestly the best person I could possibly recommend. So quick shout out to Karen. Karen, quickly shoot me your website if you'd like me to put it up on the agenda. I've worked with Karen. She has brought visibility to my brand that I could not have done on my own at all. Also, I tell other people, she's got integrity. She's one of the nicest people I know. She's based here in the US. So that's a question I actually get quite a bit. It's sort of like, do you know anything about Facebook advertising? How do I take my business online and create a broader visibility? Well, I've got a beautiful partnership with Karen, and she is like the Jedi of advertising. Beautiful. So she just sent me I'm going to go ahead and show it, Karen, so that people can see. Honestly, you guys, if you have any questions about advertising on social media, I highly, highly recommend Karen. And, you know, if you're, let's say, launching a webinar, you're looking to maybe create a virtual team, she's a good source too. So shout out to Karen. Thanks for joining. And Karen, if you've got any questions, let me know. So it's really interesting. I thought today we would just kind of play with a few topics. One thing, and maybe I can start with sharing a few things I'm learning. The power of groups, the power of Facebook groups, and the power of referral. One thing I'm doing right now is really just trying to grow my brand. And thanks, Karen. She says you rock. You rock too. It's all about support and love. Let's just support each other, shall we? And drive engagement. That's why I've embraced this Be Live platform. Another entrepreneur, a beautiful award-winning artist and friend, Joan, Dr. Joan of Angels, one of my clients as well, hooked me into this beautiful platform. I had seen her grow her brand just organically. She was starting to hold these meetups on this beautiful platform. And I was like, I want to know what you're doing because your engagement's really great. And she's a beautiful example of someone who has kind of a following across the board. She's a published author, artist. She's based here in the US, and she's got a really strong local community. And then I started to see her hosting these Be Live events where people were tuning into her from all over. So she inspired me to jump on this platform. And video, I think, is going to be the real game changer if you're looking to promote your business or drive engagement, because Another question I get is, hey, how come nobody's seeing my content on Facebook? And I think, and Karen, I'm sure you can speak to this too. It's sort of like what I have learned and what I've seen, and I'll get back to Facebook groups in a minute, but what I have seen in terms of a trend is when it comes to content, Facebook clearly prefers video over anything else. And I'm learning, and this is not shocking, that they prefer live video. Obviously, Facebook Live is a huge game changer for Facebook. Their algorithm likes it. So if you are considering, or if you're stuck like I am and really kind of starting to push your brand in new directions and looking to get more eyeballs, and engagement is key, consider doing live, either Facebook Live or using a platform like BeLive or another platform to just try out this whole thing called live broadcasting, because I have heard from other entrepreneurs that this totally changed the game in terms of their on-page engagement. Because frankly, when it comes to Facebook, I can't really think of another way to, in terms of discoverability. I've experienced this in my own brand, and I'm hearing from my other clients too. Other people just aren't seeing their content. And so basically we had to walk back of why that's the case. And I think I figured it out. I think it's just there's too much content. And when you rank written or images or video is what Facebook loves the most. So I think if you're in planning mode for your brand this year, going into the holiday season or next year, consider just trying out video, which is totally terrifying, because the number one thing I hear from clients when I ask them if they want to be on camera is they're like, no, I hate the way I look on camera, and like, hell no. And I think there's this whole thing about, like, have you noticed I haven't looked at the camera once? When I talk, I kind of look in circles. But yes, so Karen, great, beautiful. She says, all true, Facebook loves live video, and thus they give it, I think you said preference. I'm gonna go ahead and show that comment, Karen. It's just like, she's so like witty and smart, and like, we are graced with your presence here. The wizard of Facebook. It's totally true. And again, if you have questions on the ad side, if you're looking for a Jedi, Karen is your Jedi master for sure. The way I know Karen is, my world is digital marketing and brand, mostly on the content side. So if you've heard of paid and earned, I'm mostly on the earned side. And then through Karen and our collaboration, we can deliver on the paid side. But yeah, so it's great to get that confirmation from Karen, because it looks like video is the way to go. That being said, I think, there's nothing wrong with still creating, like I've started to create YouTube videos so that I can link on here. I'm kind of doing this experiment right now where I'm posting nothing but video content just to see. And so that's a combination of created stuff I link to on YouTube or this live stuff, just to see, like, am I going to get a change? And my gut tells me that I will. So soapbox done, try video. And I'm in a tank top, you guys, like, just kind of get over yourselves. Another trend I'm seeing, and that I heard and I saw today on a beautiful webcast today, was like, just focus on being yourself. We look the same as, I look the same as if like you were talking to me right now. So we're no different. But I think it's when we see that camera lens or like the big red light or whatever, we just are like deers in the headlights. But back to Facebook. So here's another thing I'm seeing. I'm getting a lot of questions from clients and other entrepreneurs. Like, I feel like right now people are really they're assessing where they've been this whole year. People are kind of plateauing. I think there's a lot of strategy going on, because if you run a business, you are looking. We're on the precipice of the holiday season going full bore. And I know Karen can speak to the fact that even the advertising strategy might change, because everyone is suddenly going to put a ton of effort and money into trying to grab your attention on places like Facebook, so it can get wicked competitive. So I get a sense that a lot of people are just trying new things, which is beautiful. But here's one thing that I'm definitely seeing: the power of your existing network. Don't forget that. And here's a lesson that I've learned recently. Welcome to new viewers. Hello. If you've got questions on business or brand or social media, let me know. We're just kind of talking about the climate right now. I did not. So Karen, she's asking about if I listened to Amy Porterfield's podcast. Amy Porterfield, by the way, y'all, she's amazing. I know her from, she teaches a fantastic webinar class, and that's actually where I met Karen. So Amy Porterfield, if you just want a great example of someone who is just rocking a really solid personal brand, and then obviously she's created a beautiful, I would say she's kind of created a kind of a media empire. It's fantastic. Just Google Amy Porterfield. Karen, you can school me if I'm gonna spell this wrong, but I'm just gonna quickly put her website on there. Boom. Quick plug, y'all. She didn't pay me to say this. I'm actually one of her students in one of her films. I just follow her from a marketing standpoint. Karen, tell me if I misspelled that. I just quickly fumbled that. She is great. So if you are running your own business, if you want to learn anything about running a professional podcast, marketing, advertising, webinars, she's fantastic. And you don't have to enroll in one of her classes to really learn from her. She really is a kind of captain in her industry. And to be honest, I love her because she's a woman. And look, we women have a different style of marketing, and her approach is her approach, but it is slightly different, because I think sometimes you can see different marketing can be quite aggressive or I don't want to say masculine, but it's kind of, it can be kind of, when all the voices in one industry, like any industry, are telling you how to do something and they're all men, I think you're going to get more of the same style. Amy comes from a prestigious background. She worked with Tony Robbins and all this beautiful stuff. And so she certainly carries with her panache and experience. But then she's got Amy's take on it. So she's a beautiful brand as well. Ooh, Karen, you're giving me such goodies. I'm going to have you on as a guest. You know I am chasing you for that, so just beware. Karen says she hates live video because she doesn't like the way she looks on video. She had to get over it and be willing to completely be authentic and transparent. Yeah, it's sort of like, once you kind of take the ego out of it, and then, as soon as you start to see things like engagement or like client referrals come through your video, I think the question of should I be on video is kind of answered, and we can worry a little less about what we look like. Cool. She's just sent me a link, which I'm going to show you guys right now. And I'm sure Amy loves the referrals. This is a really cool link, you guys. Podcast, Amy Porterfield. I love it. It's called Why I Hate Video. Preach. So I'm going to listen to that. I've listened to other of Amy's. So if you are looking for a great podcast, and this is why I love broadcasts, it's like, I don't have all the answers, you guys. Karen, the Jedi, has given us a beautiful link. If all I can do each week is just create a space where people can get together and we can support each other and share stuff exactly like what Karen's given you right now, I've done my job. Okay, so thank you so much, Karen, for that. I am going to, I'll leave it up for a little bit more in case people want to quickly give it a Google. But, oh yeah, I'm going to have you headline, Karen. So I do a podcast, and then I'm going to get you on camera too. I'm going to have you come on here. Got to join me, because not everyone just wants to listen to me. Like, as flattering as that is. Like, my whole point of this show, by the way, you guys, is to bring other people on. So I know the first couple episodes, which have really been literally just a tech rehearsal, as you may have sampled if you tried to log on at one and didn't see me, is I'm just on here now, just kind of getting the bells and whistles of running Be Live. But if I can, at least once a week, so this is, I guess, a good plug for me. It's all flowing and organic. You could tell I'm very, it's just a natural flow. But I will put up here. You can catch me. Ideally, I'm going to be here every Tuesday and Thursday. And what I'm hoping to do is at least one of those days have a guest on, because I shouldn't be the only talking head. And then the other day, probably something like this that's a little bit more just kind of freewheeling and cash and whatnot. And on Tuesdays, it's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific. And then on Thursdays, a little later in the day. And that's really to try to cater to, again, I've got followers kind of around the world. And, I may adjust it over time. I may adjust it with the holidays, whatever, but that's my goal. So if you need a reminder, and I'll put a reminder every show I have, I'm going to put an invite out every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific here in the US. What is that, 10? 1 Eastern. And then Thursday, 1 p.m. here, so a little later here. And then I think it's going on 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'm trying to show love to folks I know in the UK, in South Africa and India, so that I'm on at some point when they are awake. Okay. I know, Karen. I know you don't want to go live camera. We can make the lighting really nice. You have so much. So one rule I learned from Amy was like, read out the questions or read out the comments so that you're not having these sidebar conversations. So Karen, if you don't mind, she just commented she's a little nervous about live camera, and I am too. Don't worry, we'll have fun. You have so much information to give that I think, but of course, whenever you're comfortable, we'll do it. I'm not going to push you too hard. I just know you have so much information to give. I'm eager to give it to people. But also, you're just a really great person to work with. So the world needs to know more about you. So okay, so circling back to Facebook groups. One thing I have learned is, again, as we're all sort of strategizing, maybe some of you are trying to find new business to bring you through the rest of the year. So for me, my clients range from folks I have kind of on an ongoing contract. I'm working with them for brand, digital marketing. Maybe I'm building them a website that might be more project-based. And others I just do strategy. So I have kind of 3 different timelines working. And perhaps, especially if you're a coach or a strategist, you might be looking for clients right now. And so you might be just kind of hunting and gathering and wondering where you can find clients. And it's really beautiful. Like right now, all I'm doing is, it's kind of a new strategy, is instead of trying to create everything or manifest everything. I mean, I'm creating YouTube videos and I'm creating these live events, but another thing I'm doing is really just looking to my left and right and looking where I already gather and know people. So I'm looking back to my own network, my classic mailing list, my past clients, people who subscribe to my newsletter, people who follow my page, who may or may not be existing clients, people who follow my personal page, who may or may not be clients or partners. And that's like the warm audience, marketing 101, people tell you to try to nurture. But I'm also looking at Facebook groups. And this has been really a beautiful thing with the sole purpose of just creating connections. Because again, it's not my style to go in to jump somewhere and be like, hey, buy my, hire me. It just, that doesn't, social media is a social medium. So you need to honor the values and the rules that go with that. So you wouldn't run into someone's living room and yell, buy my stuff. You would join conversations, the whole cocktail party analogy. So what I've been doing is just kind of, and it's funny because we joined so many groups. You may not remember the last time you actually looked at all your groups. It was kind of a trek down memory lane. I just started to look in the different groups that I had joined. And it was beautiful because I started to reach out. I basically let people know, this was an experiment. I let people know that I was looking for guests for the show. And the sole purpose of that is, hey, to let people know I've launched a show, but really it's like, let me turn to the groups where I already know people and value them. And if I can use my platform as a way that promotes them, everybody wins. And so the outcome of that, because I'm all about results, is not only am I staring at a list of amazing potential people for guests on the show, people that are business owners, artists, entrepreneurs, people who work full time but run successful groups. So that strategy has already paid dividends for me. If at the end of the day, maybe one of them turns into a client, fine, but it's all about the power of referral. And, I couldn't pay for that. It was really just my time and trying to turn to where I gather. So the moral of the story is, we put so much pressure on ourselves to create brand new things, to show people, to try to get them to come in and buy our product or service. Does it make sense sometimes just to kind of stop, pause, and look around and find new ways of reconnecting with people that you're already connected with? Does that make sense? So anyway, it's been a real joy because it's reminded me that my network is a lot bigger than I think it is, than I remember that it is. And this is just on Facebook alone. So I'm doing the same thing on Twitter and LinkedIn. And it just feels good to like push other people forward. I mean, that's essentially my background is in PR. So that's why I started in PR. a quality that a lot of PR professionals share is we are totally comfortable not being in the spotlight. So Karen, I get you on this whole camera thing. We would rather promote and push other people forward. We like that side of the strategy. We like being behind the scenes, pushing people. And so that is very natural for me to say, you're an amazing person. Can I give you a spotlight to talk about your amazingness? And then I obviously am able to show my value in a less salesy way, because the marketing part of my business is like most people who run a business, we're just, you either love it or you don't. So anyway, Karen, I think you threw in another comment, but I missed it. Oh yeah, just talking about live camera. So I was kind of around the houses this today, but basically the rules of thumb today, and this is Coffee or Cocktails with Jessica. I think I'm going to rename it. Maybe when I get some more followers, you can help me. I'm kind of thinking of informally naming my live broadcast Big Hair Don't Care, because this, I mean, you're just going to see, I mean, you know, like you see my hair tie here. I normally am like hair up because I'm kind of known for two things. My height, I'm 6 foot, and my hair is huge. That's my brand. You can't really see my height. Maybe one day I'll stand up and like my waist will stop here. But yeah, maybe we can think of a fun name for the show. Karen, do you have any questions you'd like me to answer? I don't know. It could be about this. It could be about anything. Oh, you and I could have a really fun conversation, I think, of what it's like to run a business as women. I'm thinking, I'm not going to get into it, but I think all of us kind of know what the big headline is right now when it comes to men in powerful positions. Insert male here, and the pluses and minuses of that. It's, I think, having a whole conversation about just different business styles can be interesting too. The majority of my followers happen to be women who run businesses or entrepreneurs, which I think is cool. I love having a mixed following, though. I think I am proud to know and honored and learn a ton from my friends, my past colleagues, and my followers who are men around the world. I love hearing your stories about how your fathers, or how you're partnered with your brother, or you're just out of college, or maybe you're creating an inclusive workspace. I'm inspired by what you guys share with me, and I think it's all about improving the conversation. So what else can I talk about? I try not to talk too much, but I guess I have to, because I didn't really promote today's episode. Oh, I could promote next week's. So next week, and there's going to be an invite. Oh yeah, see, Karen, maybe. So Karen's saying we could definitely have a great conversation about that. So Karen, maybe that's where we start. I think, especially given my following are mostly women. So if you're watching this, even if you're not watching this live and you're watching this after the fact, and you would like to have a conversation, an exchange of ideas and experiences about running a business as a woman, or as I like to call it, boss lady, then I think that would be a lot of fun, actually. Okay, Karen, I'm going to share that beautiful comment. She says, women, we tend to over-deliver and undercharge. So raise your hand if that's you. It's like, I think we can all relate in business or just in relationships, right? We always tend to kind of, and why do we do that? Like, why do we feel the need that we have to do that? I think, you know, maybe it's part of how we've been raised, or maybe how we've been conditioned, or maybe the environment we came up through. And, you know, maybe it's just how we as women might be more tapped into maybe the emotional side, kind of more on the, it's always on the surface of our brain more. I'm not saying men can't be emotional, but I'm saying as women, we kind of, sometimes we're kind of wired to think from that place. But who knows? I think it could be a really interesting conversation. I know a few others that may come on as guests, women who run their own businesses, who have a ton of experience actually speaking about the different styles of leadership And there's no right or wrong is what I'm saying. But I think the more conversations we can have about, there's values in both, right? There's values in compassion, and there's values in boldness and brashness. Is that a word, brashness? There's a time for kind of a straight talk, straightforward, no emotion conversation. And then there's a time for compassion and pause, right? So maybe we just decided our episode, Karen, and then we can exchange ideas and challenges. I think it's really interesting. And I think, for those of you that are just starting in your careers, I would have loved to have learned this conversation when I was in my early 20s, about how it's okay to have a certain style, a professional style, So I think there's a lot to learn there. So, but yeah, so quick plug for next week, Karen. I'm totally gonna stalk you till we have. So look forward to Karen for a future interview. No pressure, Karen. But if anything, visit her website and check her out if you have any questions or need for advertising. Or you can reach out through me if you're looking for more of a holistic kind of earned and paid side. Totally fine. And I'll put my. You can just click on my Facebook page as you're already watching. You can find all my website information there, or just message me. Next week, we have a really interesting guest. He is based here in Los Angeles, actually. It's Jerry Gonzalez. And I'll have an invite going out a little later so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. But he has a background in real estate, and he has really built a beautiful personal brand. And one thing I love about the company that he works with, Keller Williams, is here in LA, I actually know a lot of realtors, and I love every single one of them because they all share a common a style. They all have a deep integrity. Some of them are personal friends of mine, and you can pick them out of a crowd. They are smart, poised, deep integrity, and I don't know if it's a company culture or whatnot. But they all share this beautiful quality, and they're honest, they're open, and they all absolutely love what they do. When you think about buying a home, it's sort of like, and I've learned this because, one day I hope to buy a home in Los Angeles, but they school me on what it's like, and it's actually a beautiful journey. When you think about moving a home or buying a home or starting a life, these are important milestones. So I love having conversations with realtors because their industry is fascinating. So anyway, so Jerry's going to be joining me next week. Look for the invite there, and I think he's really going to delight a lot of you in terms of he's got a really beautiful, authentic brand, and he's going to talk about the power of personal branding and connection. Because as you can imagine, when you're talking about finding someone a home and selling a home, a lot of it is face to face, and so I think he's got some great tips and tricks in terms of that. And he's obviously growing his brand digitally, so we'll have a nice conversation about that. Karen says, haha, I'm on stalker alert. Don't worry. All right, so I think this was another successful tech run. Who knows if my laptop is going to commit next week. Some things I know for sure, my hair is only going to get bigger. This camera angle, I think, works for me. Maybe I could work on my posture. If my mom's watching this, she's probably like, Jessica, sit up. Okay. Another thing I know for sure, I love having people on, ask me questions. Thank you, Karen, for joining. Look out for that invite. If you want to follow me on other social channels, I always forget to mention this, but you can also follow me. Definitely follow this page because that's where these broadcasts are going to be. But you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm trying to grow a following there. I'm heavily on Twitter primarily for news, but I do share insights. Follow me on Instagram if you like that as well. You can see another side of my brand. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's about it for now. So thank you guys. Look for the other invite. Again, look for me every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific and Thursday here at 1 Pacific. I'm going to try to keep them to under an hour, 35 to 45 minutes, depending on technical difficulties. So, and again, if you couldn't join me live and you're watching this after the fact and you have an interest in being on the show, I always love guests. If you run a business, have a successful personal brand, have a social media following, absolutely hit me up. I'd love to have you on the show. If you have any questions about business brand, authenticity, or even like social media strategy, running a business, we're just going to keep it nice and fluid there, but that's really my focus. And I think that's it. Yeah? All right, so I'm going to sign off. Karen, give a wave. Give a little wave from the Midwest. I promise not to sing too much, but I will. I've had coffee, you guys. But I like it. I think this was quite successful. All right, you guys, for more information, just click around my Facebook page. If you don't follow it already, follow it. Look for an invite here. Otherwise, you can reach me through instant message there or on my other channels. Otherwise, you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. If you're heading into your evening, have a beautiful one. If you're watching me first thing in the morning, pour that extra cup of coffee, right? And I'll see you guys soon. All right. Bye, guys.